We've got a very unique matchup here as my Atlanta Falcons fly up to Chicago to take on Justin Fields and the Bears. Falcons are still in playoff contention, but they need a bunch of help to win the division, and then also wild card help as well. Like they're in both, but it's very slim in both instances. The Bears are not in playoff contention, but they have actually played decently well over the past, I would say, 4 to 5 weeks, ever since Justin Fields came back from his injury. So we're going to break down the game here. But before we do that, if you have not already subscribed to the channel and like this video, Ryan and I were about 80 subscribers away from our goal of 2,333 subscribers. So quickly subscribe and help us reach our goal. And Ryan, I want to throw it over to you here. We were at the Falcons game this past week as they played the Colts. And it was funny. I didn't think about it until afterwards, but it was like the most stress-free Falcons game I think I've watched all season. Every game has come down to the wire except for the Lions and the Jaguars game early on. But I stopped watching that for bad reasons because Falcons were not doing anything offensively. But every other game really since then, they have controlled who won the game. Either they dominated the game or they would shoot themselves in the foot. And they like we were the better team, but they just kept making the errors, and Desmond Ritter would just kind of ruin the Falcons' chances. But Taylor Heineke started against the Colts and looked solid, but I also think too, just the team as a whole is one of the best overall team performances from Falcons this year. What was your overall thoughts on the Falcons and how they played, and also then too, what are kind of your thoughts on how the Bears and Justin Fields have been playing?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start off with the Falcons here, and I really think that they didn't make that critical mistake that they've made in past games, right? They didn't have the red zone turnover. They didn't have the fumble on a long drive that made the drive not result in any points. And they really just did a good job, I think, of controlling the game. Outside of that first drive, the Colts really had nothing going the entire time. And that for me just kind of says that the Falcons really just were able to control that game. And if that can continue, I think they'll have a good chance to beat the Bears in Week 17. But since the Bears have been back, this defense has been playing, or since Justin Fields has been back, the Bears defense has been playing really, really well. After adding Montez Sweat and extending him, they're getting after the passer really, really well. And then on top of that, this offense is clicking. They're still having Justin Fields had another really bad interception in Week 16. But with that being said, he's still making a ton of really good plays. And that was also later. That interception was a little bit later in the game when they were already up by, I think, a few scores, if not more. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be really interesting to kind of see what they're able to do in this matchup. I do think it definitely favors Chicago that this is at Soldier Field and that these teams are able to have to play outside. Just being used to that weather, the Falcons are a dome team, and they do play a more physical style of football, but still going from being in a dome to playing an outdoor football is totally different.
Yeah. It's interesting kind of looking at both of these teams is they are – oh, hey there, kitty cat. They're almost identical, I would say. The one big difference is I would say DJ Moore is better than Drake London, but I don't think as much. But the like as big of a difference as what I'm about to say is the difference between Justin Fields and then the Falcons quarterbacks. Like that's just the biggest difference. Yeah. But if you look at everything else, we have a better running back room. For sure, but both teams really want to if they could run the ball every play, they would, and then they love to utilize their play action, get their quarterbacks out into space, and they really only have one or two main options receiving wise outside of a check down to a running back, and that's DJ Moore, Drake London, and then Cole Kmet and Kyle Pitts. And there's a couple other guys, yes, that we could throw out, but in general, though, offensively, these teams are very similar. And then defensively, actually, also they're very similar as well. The Falcons have a better secondary for sure, but the way that front seven is built and the style of defense that they want to play, very similar. And so ever since getting Montez Sweat, as you mentioned, this Bears defensive front has just been absolutely amazing. Number one run defense in the league. I think that's where the Falcons are really they're going to have to try and win that matchup. But they are currently Jake Matthews left the game with a knee injury, so his status is going to be up in the air. Caleb McGarry has been out for the past couple of weeks. And then you've got rookie Matthew Bergeron, and then you got Drew Dahlman, who is the center there from 2021, who's had an okay season so far. He has missed the past couple of weeks. And then Chris Lundstrom's still one of the best guards. But in general, though, it's going to be a very tough matchup for this Falcons offensive line. I think when it comes to this matchup, they're going to have to try and win the trenches. And this might be one of the first times, I would say, where the Falcons might be the weaker team in the trenches on both sides of the ball. This Bears offensive line has also massively improved over the past couple of weeks and really over the span of the season ever since Tevin Jenkins came back. And that's where I think it's going to be very interesting on how the Falcons are able to manage. And the Bears, their biggest issue, similar to the Falcons, they've just been shooting themselves in the foot. They've been having just a lot of turnovers. So I think whoever can control the ball and maintain maintain security of the ball is going to come out victorious in this matchup. Both teams play very similarly.
Yeah. To me, I think the big thing in this matchup, and I mean, we can just go ahead and get into predictions here. But to me, the big separator is I think Justin Fields is playing at a really high level. And I think that the Bears will be able to get after the quarterback much more consistently. I was really impressed with the Falcons' ability to get after Gardner Minshew in this Colts offense. But I don't think they're going to have the same luck against the Bears because Justin Fields' escapability is much higher than Gardner Minshew's. And I think even if this Atlanta Falcons pass defense, which is really good, plays perfectly, I think it's a little bit of the Lamar Jackson effect where, all right, well, I'll just run for 15, slide, and then we'll reset. And then eventually the Falcons will make a mistake, have a miscommunication or something, and then the Bears will have a big play. And so to not give it away, I'm going with the Bears in my prediction.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I think Justin Fields' elusiveness is going to be interesting to see how the Falcons handle that. And if you go and look at just the history from the season, the Falcons have evidence of not being able to defend that type of quarterback very well. You look at Josh Dobbs in the Minnesota Vikings game; he ran all over the Falcons. That was a very unique situation because they weren't really preparing for him at all. Then the next week, though, they are going to be playing against Kyler Murray. They played against Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray also did the same thing as well. So that being said, I picked Atlanta every single time. So I'm going to go with Atlanta here. I'm going to be rooting for them anyways. Also, I'm several games back. I think 9 games back now in our season-long competition. So I need to find every opportunity to try and catch up to you. So I'll go with Atlanta here. Definitely think it'll be a fun game to watch, especially I'm just very curious to see the Bears situation in the offseason because Falcons are pinned as a team, one of the top candidates. If Justin Fields does get traded, Falcons will shell out to go and get a quarterback because I feel they are about a quarterback away. But at the same time, though, depending on where the Bears pick, let's say they want to keep Justin Fields and they use that number 1 overall pick and get Marvin Harrison Jr. Man, you got DJ Moore, Marvin Harrison Jr., Cole Kmet is a great option. They have a good running back room and Khalil Herbert, Deontay Foreman if they want to bring him back. I like Roshan Johnson as well. Offensive line is set. They got that good front defensive 7. You might not need to trade Justin Fields. But at the same time, though, it is Caleb Williams, Drake May. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in the offseason. As a Falcons fan, I hope you guys trade him and we get Justin Fields. But that is for an offseason discussion. Which subscribe and you can see all of our content and our opinions about what the Bears should do this offseason.
Yeah. Hey, you're stealing my thunder.
All right, go ahead.
No, let's go ahead and wrap up this video here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Tyler and I, we have a unique goal of getting to 2,333 subscribers. So if you could help us reach that goal, that would be very much appreciated. Sorry, I have a kitten crawling all over me. And if you could help us reach that goal, that'd be very much appreciated. Go ahead and leave a comment on who you think is going to win this matchup down below. Is it going to be Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears, or is it going to be Taylor Heineke and the Atlanta Falcons? And this has been the cutest outro of the entire Tracy Take channel. So let's go ahead and wrap this one up, and we'll see you guys later.